So you can see an example of the flipped classroom that I use in my high school graphics communications class. It's usually it's a first period course, so I made this mainly out of necessity for all these seniors who are rolling into school late every day and say, hey, did I miss anything? It's like, as a teacher, I always find it a little insulting. It's like, of course you did. Like, we don't just sit here and have arm wrestling tournaments all period. So yes, you missed something. And then I would find myself teaching the same lesson 3 different times to 3 different, late students as they staggered in 5 minutes apiece. So out of necessity, I ended up putting together this little flipped classroom before I even really knew what a flipped classroom was. And it's kind of a quasi-flipped classroom. So anytime that I give a lesson for new material, I will take a video of it. And that way I can tell my students, hey, listen, yeah, you missed something. Go hop on my school website. Go through to see today's date, find out what you missed, and watch the video. And I'll give them some headphones so they're not disturbing everybody else. And it started to work out so well that I decided, hey, I should just put these videos together first. And, not that I came out of this idea myself here, because then at this point I did learn about the flipped classroom because my niece was an engineering student at UPitt, and they were using the flipped classroom. I thought, wow, that's a great idea. I'm kind of doing that right now, but let's take it a step further and actually request that they watch these videos beforehand. So I just broke down, my lessons from my plan book and said, okay, what do I do first in the beginning of the year? So I started to make these little videos here, and I would tell my students, hey, listen, this is your homework. Hop online tonight, which many of them do as they're walking in the door. They're still watching it on their phone, but they're getting it watched, and they're getting, they're getting the content, which is great. So they'll watch the video. They'll get the gist of what's going on. Half of them probably will understand from the get-go, and they can get moving on with what would typically be the homework assignment, but they're going to do it right there in class so I can answer any questions that pop up. And I found out that it worked really well. The beauty of it is the fact that they can always pause, they can always rewind and go back. And I feel that limits a lot of the questions that I would get that were just kind of out of laziness, where they just weren't paying attention, and they wanted to know, hey, what do we call this file again? Meanwhile, it's written on the board. So my question, or my standard reply now is hit rewind, go back. It's in there. Pay attention. So here we got lesson 1.0, topic introduction to Adobe InDesign. We've got our directions for what they're going to do. I want them to watch the video tutorial before coming to class. If they need to watch it again while in class, please be sure to use the headphones so you don't disturb your fellow classmates. If you have mastered the material, please follow the instructions on the smartboard and start your project. If you need help beyond the video, let me know so I may guide from the side. And just hit a little play here. This is an old program that I use called Jing, which they've actually discontinued support of. So I'm actually moving on here to Screencast-O-Matic. So far, so good. I'm actually going to upgrade to the here. Let me show you where it is right here. This is Screencast-O-Matic screen recorder. It's free, but of course you got to buy the $2 a month version if you want to do all the video editing, which I think I just might spring for. Let me hop on back to my flipped classroom. And you can see we've got a lot of stuff on here for my flipped classroom. As the year goes on, I just keep adding and adding to it. So we got lots and lots and lots of lessons on here. And I hope you can glean some good information from what I'm showing you here.